Guys, so my name is Pratik Agarwal, and I'm going to be the lead instructor for this particular workshop. And I answer any of your questions that you may have about the course, or you may have about this entire career, right? I've spent around 18 years in this industry, 2004 onwards. So it's been a long time. Okay. So you can literally ask me anything about this data industry. That's been something that I've been doing. I mean, it's very single focused from a professional world, very single focused, so you can ask me any questions. So just a little bit about me. I'm a computer engineer by education, and I did my master's in information systems and operation research back in early 2000 from Texas. And then I worked as a data consultant, data technology consultant for some of the large consulting companies in the US, consulting some of the large financial houses, real estate companies, and retail companies in the US. And after that, several companies, several global companies in India as well, including Tata Group companies, Accentures, ITCs, and Tesco, Honeywell. I mean, I've worked with several companies. And so that's my professional passion area. And out of my professional area, my extracurricular work is I like to invest into startups. Okay, so that's something that I've been doing for some time. I have exited one or two startups, at times with profit, at times with losses. So you can also ask me about businesses. That's one of my passion areas, extracurricular. People like to do extracurricular, read, write. I like to read up on businesses, and I like to be with them. So that's about me, guys. Okay, I'll be more than happy to get connected with you all on LinkedIn. If you do not have a LinkedIn profile, you must stop this class, go back home, and create a LinkedIn profile. Because without a LinkedIn profile in today's time, it's just no point. So if you just Google Pratik Ivy, you'll find me, my LinkedIn profile as the first profile. I'll be more than happy to get connected with you all. Through me, you can get connected to tens of thousands of people. And also, I am available on Twitter, but Twitter. Instagram also I'm there, but I don't understand it much. So you can send me a request, but I'm not sure how to use that thing very well. So yeah, but yeah, LinkedIn is very important. Everybody must have a very professional account on LinkedIn, which resonates your resume with your career profile. Extremely important, because this is the biggest job portal in the world right now. Most of our students get jobs because of their LinkedIn presence. Okay, so your LinkedIn has to be not just good, but has to be extremely good. Yeah. So I actually I do take I have recorded a video as well on how to create LinkedIn profile. I'll share that link also with you. How to create a impactful LinkedIn. It is rather longish, but it's more like a workshop. You can keep following it. You don't have to do it in one shot. Keep following it, and yeah. So specifically for the data science, data engineering industry, the tips that I've given here, I think I've given some 10 tips, and I've shown you how those 10 tips are done as well. So that is the reason why it is a little longish. But yeah, you can follow it step by step. Have your LinkedIn profile, keep updated. But believe me, having a great LinkedIn profile is a must. Okay, in today's time. Ashish's question is graduation mandatory for this course? Well, Ashish, I have trained people who've been in school also, and they have done pretty well in the course in terms of learning experience. Now, it also depends upon what your ultimate goal is. If your ultimate goal is to become a freelancer, doesn't matter whether you have graduation or any degree, doesn't matter. The only thing anybody would look for is skills. But if your end goal is, or let's say if your end goal is just to learn, anybody can learn, no problem. But if your end goal is to get a job in one of the, let's say service-oriented companies like Accenture or the TCSs or the Wipros of the world, then they are little process stickler. They would want to hire somebody who has at least have had a graduation. Otherwise it's difficult for them to hire because nobody wants to take a risk. Now there is another kind of category of companies, the startups, right? I mean, they are more focused on skills, but more often than not, I've seen that they also look at the education background. So Ashish, your question, if you're a student in a school, doesn't matter, I mean, it's a great time to do something like this. I mean, you will get a better job, better degree when you go into bachelor's, or better internships when you're looking for one later. Rima's question is, does career gap affect in getting hired? My philosophy there is, can you go in the past and change that career gap? ऐसा तो नहीं कि road का कोई block है where you go back and you patch it up. You can't go back in the time, unfortunately, right? We don't have a time machine. So why worry about it? Do you understand what I'm trying to say? If you've had a gap, you can't really worry about it now. It's way too late. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Now worry about learning, worry about showcasing your projects, worry about creating a compelling profile, right? And not worry about gaps. Now, see, I mean, there are enough and more companies, there are enough and more recruiters who understand that the gaps would be because of various reasons, family reasons, marriage, wedding, exams, and X and Y. I mean, nobody just stays at home. So, what happens with career gap is that if somebody is intelligent enough, can fill that career gap with a lot of projects from courses like this, right? I mean, we live in a world right now where the skills are more appreciated than anything else. So focus on gaining skills, focus on showcasing the skills, so that nobody really bothers about your career. So I'll just to give you a very quick, very simple example of what I'm trying to talk about. So I'll show you one of the resumes of, all our students' resumes, all our intelligent students' resume, smart students' resume would be something like this only. So most of our students, we call such resumes as social resumes. Now, this resume that I'm showing you is of a person who had just done a bachelor's in commerce, finance and accounts. But by the end of the program, she had more than 4 or 5 hours. And now she's working as a data visualization engineer. Okay, commerce person, fresh college grad, working as a data engineer. Data visualization engineer. So if you look at her profile, right? So what you notice is that professional summary, first page dedicated to projects, project links, then projects, then some online competitions related to the field of interest. Tableau is one of the very famous data visualization. Doesn't matter whether she won in these competitions or not, but there is a link to the fact that she worked on this competition. This was the result of that competition, XYZ. Then the education degree, because she knew that education degree was not very relevant, so she put it down on the second page. But accounts and finance, and then hard skills, and then again further some more links to things which are related to, again, visualization and data. So if you notice, this is some data story, some Excel Tableau visualization, color differentiated in a data visualization. So everything was, the entire resume is telling one story to the data, to the recruiter, which was, don't worry about my education degree. I am very, very passionate about this data world. And here is the proof. These are all the proofs of my work. You understand? Say, for example, you're making your house. You're remaking your house or making a new house, right? You are wanting to hire an interior designer. Now, yes, there will be very famous interior designers with very strong pedigree. But let's say you do not have that kind of a budget. You're not Microsoft, you're not Google. You can't hire an IIT and data engineer because they will ask through the bomb. Nobody is going to come less than 30 lakhs, right? But there is another person who's extremely passionate, who shows the zeal, the ambition to learn and to grow, and there is a proof of the work. So as when you're hiring an interior designer, if you come across a young person who's coming much cheaper than a very established person, you would still be tempted to hire that person. Same, I have seen it happening again and again to so many of our students. There are a lot of engineers who do not end up getting the kind of job offers or job profiles that they're looking for, and there are a lot of non-engineers who end up getting much better job profiles because of their sincerity towards and their little bit of smartness. This is a smart way of doing it. We tell the same thing to every student, but not every student really follows it because it requires effort. It requires effort to work on these projects. These are all academic. These are all projects that most of the projects are the projects that she's done as part of the curriculum. I get a point. We do more than 30 plus projects as part of the program. More than 5-6 research projects also we make people do. But not everybody ends up doing it the way we want them. And not everybody ends up creating short videos. And not everybody ends up putting them in their resume with links. And not everybody will end up putting those projects on their LinkedIn and feature them. If you look at her LinkedIn profile as well, Sanchari's question is, she did a course in graphics, right? Then why is she into data science? Well, that's her. Who stops you? Suppose I have interest in graphic designing. Steve Jobs had interest in calligraphy and colors. So he did multiple courses in calligraphy and color. What did he end up making? iPhones. Do you understand? And he used that calligraphy in iPhone. She has an interest in graphics designing, but she's working in the data visualization industry. In graphics designing, they learn about colors. In data visualization, when you create dashboards, they should look nice as well. Most of the engineers who create dashboards, they're pathetic in color combination. Purple को mix कर देगा black के साथ, purple को mix कर देगा fluorescent green के साथ. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? But when a person who understands colors and also understand how to present the data visually, and then when they create the dashboard, they look nice. So why not? Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Any kind of learning, I believe, especially in the data world, you can utilize. If you have done a public speaking course, it'll be a great help because here we tell stories with the data. If you are a public speaker, great thing. If you have done a professional course on PowerPoint designing, it'll be a great help in the world of data science. Why not? Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So, there is nothing wrong in doing a graphics designing course and getting into. So look at this. She did graphic designing course also. She worked as a web developer also. What was her education background? Commerce. तो आप नहीं बोल रहे कि अकाउंटिंग किया ही नहीं सर, क्यों नहीं किया अकाउंटिंग? उसकी मर्जी है. It's a free world. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Right? She was exploring, young people exploring. My daughter who's in 4th standard, she has designed 40 apps, read 500 books. She's exploring. Let them explore. It's a new world. It's no defined career, you don't know where she will go. So, you don't know. So, yeah, so if you look at her profile, right, she has featured these projects and hundreds of people have liked and spoken about it. So as a recruiter, if I open one of the links and I see that 100 of people, it's like going to Amazon and reading the review of a product before you buy. If there is a non-branded product on Amazon, but hundreds of people have said 4.8 rating. So you get a lot of confidence in buying that product, even though it is a non-branded product. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So even though she's not from an IIT or she's not even an engineer, but she's working in a hardcore data visualization industry as a data visualization engineer. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Because she has done that kind of effort. Similarly, there are so many such students I can show you. One more couple of questions. Oh man, I didn't see that there are questions. Govinda has asked, is it too late for someone who's trying to change their career at 27? Are 27? क्या बात कर रहे हो यार, young आदमी. 27. काफी young है. Don't worry about it. We train people who are CEOs of the companies, who are senior directors of the companies who have spent like 15, 20 years in the companies, and then they have decided, data, everything is about data, right? I mean, so in our B2B, in our corporate practice, we train people from various backgrounds. We train HR guys, we train doctors. Hospitals are asking us to train their doctors. Companies, retail companies, I mean, Tesco's and Walmart kind of companies are asking us to train their managers. We trained Coca-Cola's all senior managers last year. All senior managers of Coca-Cola. We are training research scientists from Tata Steel right now. So, I mean, data is the new oil. I mean, gold, oil, whatever you want to call it, diamond. Everybody is learning it. So why would you not learn? As simple as that. So no, it's not. And 27 is young, yeah. 27 में क्या ही होता है? बात लोग तो 27 तक घूम रहे होते हैं, cricket खेल रहे होते हैं. I was playing cricket until I was, I think, what, 21, 22. I was playing cricket. I didn't know what I would do. ठीक है, engineering कर रहा था, but cricket खेल रहा था, कुछ नहीं कर रहा था. Masters में जाके समझ में आया अच्छा कुछ करना चाहिए. ज़्यादा late हो गया. BCom from distance. See, I'm not a very big fan of any distance course. Because distance course का problem क्या है कि who's your mentor, who's your peer, you don't know. So in general, distance का मैं नहीं ज़्यादा value देता. But again, I would same advice. Focus on skills. Prep up your resume like the kind of resume that I showed you. Your resume should tell. I mean, the resume should give an impression of project cases in a very organized fashion with proofs. Then nobody will bother about your skills. So nobody will bother about your education. So I'll show you one more resume. Now this lady was completely fresh. I'll show you completely fresh college grad. I'll show you a person's resume who had 7 years of experience, then had 3 years of gap because he was laid off from his work and then could not find job for like 3 years. And then he did the program. Remember, 7 years of industry experience. Okay, look at his first page. This is his first page. Objective: seeking a role in data analytics, preferably in the domain of predictive, descriptive, XYZ. Summary: 7 years of experience in credit control. He was in sales and operations in bank. Credit control and collection, retail banking and wealth management. Have hands-on knowledge, experience in 6 analytics projects, statistical modeling. Proactive leader, and then only analytics projects. Then hard skills which are related to data analytics, hard skills, statistical modeling, credit card control, domain skill, retail banking. This is also why, because banking and financial industry is the biggest industry which hires data guys. 30% of overall hiring happens in the BFSI industry, banking, financial service industry. And there the domain knowledge matters. So he's showcasing his domain knowledge intelligently. And he's showcasing his hardcore. He's showcasing his hardcore hard skills as well. These are all hard skills, right? So as a recruiter, if I look at a resume like this, right, I'm not even bothered about right now because I'm focused on the projects, and these are all relevant projects, let's say, with the kind of hiring I'm doing. And then it comes to organization experience, and he has downplayed his organization experience. If you notice, he had worked here from June 8 to June 12, meaning 2008 to 2012, so almost 4 or 5 years here. How many points he has given? 3 points only. Where people go wrong? 5 साल में वो ऐसा 50 चीज के होंगे, 50 के 50 डाल देंगे, which are all not relevant to the data science or the data world. Now there the recruiter will get confused कि आप data के हो कि आप bank के हो. Where does your passion lie? Do you understand what I'm saying? So you have to play intelligent there. Resume is about showcasing only the relevant skills relevant to the job that you're applying for, and also the hard skills more than the soft skills. So very, very intelligently, what he has done is that he has put focus on things which are relevant to the world of data. Billing and collections, average data velocity reduced from 120 to 60 days, balanced scorecard. These are all those things which are at least remotely related to data world. We do a lot of such things in the data world. So he picked up only those specific points from his job experience. Who has written in this, you know, where is the rule that you have to mention everything that you've done? As a recruiter, I'm only interested in knowing what you have done, which is relevant to the role that I'm hiring for, not everything else. You understand what I'm trying to say? So that is the reason why very intelligently is given such things. An education from a tier 3 MBA college and a commerce again student, non-tech student. But he ended up getting into companies like Accenture with great solid package, and Wells, and then Citibank, and then Wells Fargo, all as pure advanced data analyst. I mean, not even like a, and he took an early retirement. 5-6 साल काम किया, उसके बाद बोला बहुत हो गया कॉर्पोरेट वर्ल्ड, अभी रिटायरमेंट में पोएम लिख रहा है और मिठाई बना रहा है. This is the guy. So he worked with Accenture. So look at the gap, okay? अच्छा gap इसने यहाँ पे डाल दिया, but of course, but you know, I mean, he had 2 to 3 years of gap, and then he got into Accenture as an advanced modeling, analytics and modeling specialist, and Wells Fargo. These are all very top-notch companies. Okay, so you have to play it intelligently, right? And then you will have a solution to every problem. Storyteller, जो मैं आपको बता रहा हूँ, story बता रहा हूँ. So as a data storyteller, what you do is you look at the data and you you interpret the data, and then you communicate what is the result of that data to the world. For example, just to show you a very simple example, suppose this is the sales of umbrella from January, February, March, April, May, June to December, and the sales is like this. What is the story that you will be able to tell? You're saying the sales has grown initially and the later stages has grown down. वो तो दिख ही रहा सामने, तो उसमें story क्या हुई? वो तो कोई देख के भी बोल देगा. What is the story? What is visible? Sorry, what was it, Ritik?
The story will be sales of the umbrella really gets rise in the month of January, February, March. I mean, in the initial month of the year, then it's start to drop later on.
ये कोई story नहीं होना. Same चीज, you know, somebody in the class also said, Chiranjeev, but it's not a story. It is factual. It is shown in front of me. If I showed it to my daughter, she will tell me, initially बढ़ा, फिर बाद में गिर गया. I mean, what is the big deal? That's not data storytelling. So the story here is that people wait. Some people plan to buy umbrella initially as the winter fades down, which is a reflection that maybe in some places of India there is rain starts early, and as summer approaches in most of the places, and especially as monsoon approaches, all of a sudden there is a peak in the sales of umbrella, and as monsoon is towards the end of it, there is a steep downward trend in the umbrella sell, which kind of resonates with how the monsoon appears. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? I did not even go through कि January में बढ़ा कि February में बढ़ा, मैं वो तो दिख रहा है. But that is not storytelling. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Right? So if my client is an umbrella manufacturer, the client is concerned कि boss कौन से month में मैं offer दूं? Which month should I give the offer? Let's say the data says that around June the drop starts, and by July the drop, the speed of the drop is even more, and by August it's pretty high. It's below the average sale. So if I have to start giving, but we know that June, July, August, these are all monsoon time. The owner may say, but अभी तो monsoon है यार, क्यों sale down drop होएगा? तो आप बोलोगे ना, the data says so, which basically it may so mean that people who had to buy umbrella, they would have bought already. It's like people don't wait for winter to buy sweaters. The moment the first wave of winter comes, people start buying sweaters. You understand what I'm trying to say? And after that, few people buy sweaters. They're buying, but very, as compared to the initial period, lesser people. Do you understand? So if you want to give offer, start giving offer towards the middle of your monsoon season. Start giving offer towards the end of the winter season. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Don't wait for the winter to finish, because people would have started buying already. That is your storytelling. Again, one with the data. So there are people who are very good in interpreting the data and explaining it, presenting it, or telling what the data means in front of the people. And they're called as data storytellers. And that aspect is one of the very key aspects that a lot of companies look for. Maybe some people are very good at it. If you're just good in this part also, you'll be hired. Again, what? Interpretation and the insights. Not just present what the data is telling us. What the data is shown on the picture, it's visible. Anybody can read. But we say what the data is, why it is, and hence what should we do? What action should we take? Okay, so there is in data storytelling, there is a very nice principle to follow, which is Barbara Minto pyramid principle. It's a very simple principle. And I think everybody should intro, meaning the data, and so let's say the answer. So the answer is that you must give offers during the mid of the monsoon and during the mid of your, and start giving offers during the end of your winter season and when the mid of the monsoon is. That is your answer. Now, why are you recommending that as an answer? So that becomes your main conclusion of the story. Then you give the supporting arguments. The reason why you're saying that you should start offering, because during the monsoon, during the mid of the monsoon, the sales start, the data shows that the sales start to slow down. And during the end of the winter, the sales start to pick up. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Then show the data and facts. That see the data is January this much sale, October this much sale, August this much sale. Then you can actually show the actual data, right? So this Minto pyramid principle is very commonly used in telling the data storytelling. I mean, telling stories with the data. Okay. I mean, yeah, it is. So the answer, the supporting arguments, and the supporting data facts and all. If you are presenting in front of the senior executives, you want to start with the answer first because they don't have a lot of time to go through the nitty-gritties of the data. But if you're presenting it to your peers, people who can consume a lot of data, then you may start with supporting data and facts and then show the argument, then show the answer. You understand? मतलब एक slide दिखाया जिसमें data दिखाया, then you show the argument. What does it mean? Then hence what we should do. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Let's say you go and ask for a raise for yourself to a manager. You go and ask for a raise for yourself to your manager, and you say that I need a raise. If the manager is a senior person, I need at least 10% raise. So the manager will say, all right, I mean, all right, good. I like your recommendation, but why? Then you will give the supporting arguments. And then you will showcase that, hey, these are the value addition that I have done in this much amount. I got this much of business to you, and the business grew by 20% in the last 1 year, and I'm asking only for 10% growth. Are you getting what I'm trying to say? Yeah. So the idea is, it could be like that, or it could be the opposite. You go to the manager and say, Mr. Manager, just want to highlight some data to you. In last 1 year, the amount of business that I've got has grown by 20%, and this is the actual amount. Hence, I deserve a better raise this year, and hence I'm asking for 10% raise minimum. It could be bottom up if it is to people who can consume a lot of data and have the time to consume data. But if it is very senior guys, we do the other way. We first give the conclusion, then the supporting arguments, then the supporting data and facts. Is that making sense? So that is your data storytelling. Sorry, we got into data storytelling because there was a question around it, right? Priya's question is completed graduation 2020, but got ultimate result in 22 after joining this course. Is it a gap? I don't think so. I mean, it's not your fault that you got the result delayed. I don't think so. This is a gap. Sanchari's, so Sanchari's question is, how do you tackle questions which may, if the interviewer says that, okay, you've done graphic designing, but why are you interested in data science? Well, I mean, show graphic designing only if you think you can relate. Like this lady, this girl, I know the answer that she used to give. She was very confident. Sir, graphic designing में color combination सीखा है. I'm very interested in data visualization. I'm not interested in machine learning models वगैरह. मैं सीखूंगी लेकिन मुझे उतना interest नहीं. कोई बात नहीं. And she said that I can create very beautiful dashboards. I get a point. So that's fine. That's how she related the two. I showed you the experience profile, right? He said that I worked a lot in the banking industry. I understand banking industry very well, and banking industry requires a lot of data people as well. That's how I will relate my banking knowledge with my data skills, and I'll marry the two. Very good story. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Possum's question is, apart from knowledge of data analytics, being an analyst needs strong base of hypothesis, econometric statistics. How can I work on those? Absolutely. See, I mean, there are nitty-gritties of some skills. If you're pursuing that, see, there are there are three types of career in the data world right now. The first career is, and there are three types of career in the data world. In fact, yesterday also I was in an industry speaking session. I had a couple of great industry guys with us talking on this same topic. In the data world, there are three career opportunities. First career opportunity, I would say, is of a data analyst and also a visualizer. Okay. The second career opportunity is of a person who is a data scientist. Okay. And the third career opportunity is data engineer. Right. Let's understand the three. So let's say if I'm working on the data, that means I want the data to be available to me somewhere in a, and I can't just, I mean, somebody gives me a printout of the data. Agar chota data hai, to it's fine. If it is a small data, it is fine. But if it is, millions of rows of data, then, there'll be like thousands of pages of data. If something is printed, I can't consume humanly thousands of pages of printed data, right? So I would want the data to come to me in a software system where it has a reporting tool available to me, so that I can create some reports and I can make some head and tail out of the data, right? So the data engineer's role is to make sure that the data infrastructure is ready. Meaning these guys are like Google of the data, Google of enterprise data or organization's data, Google of what is the meaning of Google of enterprise data? Let's consider this company IvyPro. Now let's say it has 1,500 students currently enrolled, and it must have had more than 27,000 people who've been trained. So everybody's data is there somewhere, right? Let's say a company comes to us and says that, hey, we are looking for people with 0 to 2 years experience with some kind of a background in finance and strong data visualization skill with Power BI and Tableau. Now they have come up with a very specific requirement. Now, is there a point to reach out to every student? We can reach out to every student, or else if everybody's data is available to, let's say, our career center team, then they can quickly filter and figure out, okay, who are the people who meet all these criteria. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? But that data infrastructure should be available to me. So the data engineers, they don't go into the actual data and start doing the analysis, but they will make sure that that infrastructure, that software infrastructure is available. So these are the guys who will make sure that the data, wherever, suppose somebody gets enrolled. So suppose you are sent a form. So they will decide how the form is sent. Is it a Google form? Is it a Microsoft form? Is it a form directly sent by some of our ERP software? And how is that form linked to the actual database, right? And how is that data which is residing in actual database being given to the data analysis team or the data science team, who will make head and sense of the data? So these data engineers ensure that they do it. Data science guys are the guys who know everything that is required. Or let me first explain data analyst and then I'll go to data science. So data analysis guys are guys who will basically work on what has happened in the past and why whatever has happened in the past. What has happened meaning, so maybe they will create a lot of charts, visuals, right? And then they will try and understand what has happened and why it has happened in the past. But mostly they work with past data with very low capability to forecast what might happen in the future. This is also an important job, to be able to understand क्या हुआ पीछे में, past में. जैसे umbrella company का owner would want to understand what has happened in the past with my data, so that I can make sense of what I can probably decide what I should do in the future. So these guys are those guys who will ensure that the data is analyzed, past data is properly analyzed, and reports are created. Some key business questions are answered on the past data, right? So these are those guys. And they also visualize using some visualization tool like Power BI, Tableau, or even Excel or Python or whatever. Data scientists guys do everything that a data analyst does. Plus, they will apply sophisticated machine learning concepts, including statistical modeling and so forth, on huge amount of data, using some cloud technologies, cloud tools as well, to predict what might happen in the future, using sophisticated machine learning algorithms. So these are the guys who will predict what might happen in the future. But they still have to do everything that the data analyst do. So a lot of people start their career as a data analyst and move towards data science. Very, very few people would directly go into the data science team. Even if you're absorbed in the data science team, initially aapko data analysis ka kaam karna padta, because that is a grudge work. I mean, a lot of manual work is also there. you have to clean the data, ensure data is in the right report and so forth. So it requires some time to do the data analysis job. So a data scientist who is a highly paid person would rather not do that. So the idea is that depending upon whether you are aiming for a data science kind of a profile, if you're aiming for a data science kind of a profile, you've got to be very good in machine learning models. In order to be good in machine learning models, you have to be good in statistical modeling. Statistical modeling is something that the data analyst also supposed to have and have a knowledge of. So if I were to, write some common skill across everybody, then I would say SQL and one coding language, for example, Python, and one cloud platform. Cloud platform is more for a data science and data engineer. It's kind of common across all. Okay. Then as a data analyst and data scientist, you got to be good in visualization tool as well, whether it is Power BI or Tableau or even visualization using Python or Excel. One visualization tool, statistical modeling, which basically means econometrics and all. And yeah, I mean, another thing that I would say, which is kind of common, okay, is Excel. Okay, please don't discount Excel. A lot of people think, oh, Excel ही है, सभी को आता है, बचपन में सीखे थे इसको. It's not like that, because you know what happens is a lot of round zeros in the companies. Round zero meaning before they even call you for an interview, as part of a screening. Let's say 1,000 people have applied, so they will send a case study on Excel, and they will give you a deadline of 4 hours or maybe a day, and you're supposed to do it, and then you're supposed to send back that Excel. Now you are wondering, मैं तो machine learning सीखा Python में, I've done special things in my world of data. Why are they asking about Excel? Well, they don't care, because you see, Excel is something which is available to everybody. So they don't even know whether you have Power BI, which is a paid tool, or you have ClickView, which is again a sophisticated paid tool. So why would they enforce those kind of tools on you? Do you understand? So Excel becomes like a bread and butter for any data person. So please don't discount it. And then for a data engineer, you got to know a few, for example, few cloud tools, big data, which is Hadoop. Got to know Hive, Spark for data engineers, right? Not so much for, yeah. Data engineers will make sure that the software system, the data is available for the data analysts and the data science people to consume. The role of a data engineer is to ensure that the data, wherever the data is coming from, source. For example, when you order on Swiggy, right? You go to their app, you select the products from different restaurants, you click on submit. That means that data got generated, that let's say Pratik Agarwal ordered 3 items of this much quantity from this restaurant to be delivered in X place. That is a data point that will need to be stored somewhere in the data database. From that app, it is connected to the database. So that connection between the app and the database is done by the data engineers. And then that database should be available to the data science team and the data analysis team when they're doing analysis. So they will make sure that the database is connected to some of the visualization tool, or at least they will inform the data analysis and data science team that, okay, this data base is connected to this data visualization tool, and this is how you can use it and pull the data out. If there is any error in the data, suppose the data analyst says, boss, इसमें तो स्विट्जरलैंड का डेटा दिखा रहा है, मैं तो बैठा हूँ चंडीगढ़, स्विट्जरलैंड का ऑर्डर कैसा आ गया? दैट मींस कहीं ना कहीं कुछ गड़बड़ हुआ डेटा पाइपलाइन में. तो वो डेटा एनालिस्ट का गड़बड़ नहीं है, वो डेटा इंजीनियर का गड़बड़ है. So the data engineers will say, oh, let me check. Is my database connected to the right app? कहीं स्विट्जरलैंड वाला ऐप से तो नहीं कनेक्ट हो गया? So वो चेक करेगा. Do you understand what I'm saying? So the data engineer's role is not to analyze the data. Data engineer's role is to make sure that data is available for the data analyst and data scientist to use. So they are ensuring the right software is connected to the right database. Right database is hosted in the right cloud platform. It is connected to the right visualization and several tools which are used by data analysts and data scientists. But they don't go to the data and they don't see whether females are ordering, whether Chandigarh people are ordering, or whether Delhi people are ordering, or whether Bangalore people are ordering. That all is done by data analysts and the data scientists team. I mean, 3D Besh, you said he's 31 years old. See, I mean, I've got all different kinds of profiles. Okay. Of course, the younger, I mean, I would say if I had an opportunity, I would train somebody who's an age standard. Best time to learn such things. Your brain is empty. Yeah, you can learn whatever. My daughter, I was surprised in the pandemic time, she learned coding so easily. She learned it so easily, and it's so natural for her. Because they're young, I mean, they don't have a lot of things in their brain. And she built so many apps, and she was very natural to it. And I was thinking of my computer science class. कैसे हालत खराब हुई थी कोडिंग के पहले इनिशियल फर्स्ट सेमेस्टर में जब पहली बार जिंदगी में कोडिंग कर रहे थे. But by that time, we were almost adult, 17, 18. My daughter was 7 or 8 when she started learning coding. It was very natural. It was like any other language. Do you understand? The younger you are, of course, is going to be better. But 31, 27, 30s, early 20s is, I mean, they're not. I've got several profiles where people have switched the career. It's not, and plus, I showed you. I mean, that guy whose profile that I showed you, he was 34 before he jumped. Possibly's question is, she's done masters in economics. Why are you worried? Master in economics wale to itne bhare pade hamare student community mein. Saurav's question is professional in core finance. Okay, investment banking. Okay, very good. I mean, you guys are the best guys. You can go into hedge fund. I mean, one of my brothers, he was with Credit Suisse in the relationship banking side in Singapore, and then he did CFA. Then he did a data science kind of a program, and then he's now with a hedge fund doing advanced modeling based foreign currency trades, more than $1 million salary in less than 30. So, I don't know, I mean, investment professional, investment banking, especially if you have a CFA or an FRN kind of a thing, sort of great profile to be in. I mean, all the financial decisions, buy, sell, any algo trading. I mean, all these things are done by you guys only, and that's where the real money is actually. Whose LinkedIn profile? Rima, you said, Rima, whose LinkedIn profile do you want to see? So, but whose LinkedIn profile?
Sir, Shubhajit, you already showed. I checked it.
Yeah.
Shubhajit Sengupta.
Yeah, he's a funny guy. He's like, I am taking an early retirement. Last year he left his job, March 2022. उसने बोला कि सर बहुत काम कर लिया, 2 साल यहाँ 7 साल हो गए, अभी मैं मिठाई बनाऊंगा. I will make मिठाई, Bengali sweets, and I will compose music. I was like, good job there. शादी भी नहीं किया. Very funny guy. Uska, his interviews there. I mean, he's so candid about everything. I love this guy. I'll show you his. We did an interview with him. Show you his interview. Just watch it whenever you have some. Very, I mean, inspiring, aspirational. So although we say these are success stories, they look like, okay, it must have been an easy thing. No, I mean, these guys put an effort. Half an hour ka hai, but do try to watch it. I like this guy because, genuine guy, genuine effort. And I remember him, I mean, although it's been a lot of years now, but I remember he would put extra effort towards everything. I mean, genuinely, I was very happy for him because क्या होता है, कुछ लोग थोड़े से लकी होते हैं और कुछ लोग बहुत सिंसियर होते हैं. There are two types of people who are very successful I've seen in my professional career or 20 years working across the world. People who are prodigy. I got a brother who got into IIT Kanpur, stayed there for 6 months, got bored, then got out of IIT Kanpur, Then he decided, what should I do? Then he took a 6 month career gap. Then he got into the best law college of the world, of India. Then he did law for 5 years. He got to the best law firm of India. Then he got bored within 6 months after work. Then he decided, I want to go and do an MBA. So he did an MBA from ISB Hyderabad. Then he got into one of the top 5 consulting firms of the world in strategy consulting. I met him last week in Bangalore. He's bored again within 6 months. Okay. He's like, I'm just waiting for my bonus to kick in once one first year is over. Then I am going out. Now I will explore startups. So these guys are prodigies, right? वो ऐसे लोग हैं जिनको they can decide and do whatever they want. They don't have to be very organized. Then there are second set of people who are extremely sincere and organized and disciplined towards their goal, like this guy, and like that Vani. I like those kind of people more. Then I like the prodigy kind of people. Prodigies are very rare, right? And more often than not, in the long run, they're more frustrated. But the sincere guys, the disciplined guys, they could get success. It's in your control. Manage yourself, organize them. I get a point. So be like these kind of folks. Read his, watch his recording. He will tell you how he prepared. He will genuinely tell you what kind of a bad space he was in. Okay, he was the only son. His parents were retired. Everything. It's a story. but he'll also tell you about the effort that he. It's not like I'm telling you, any success story has a lot of effort behind it. Pritesh, question? All right. What is the importance of higher studies goes as an experience? Niladri, really, it depends upon your very situation-based question. So Niladri's question is, what is more important, higher studies or experience? See, I'll tell you again my own experience. So I did my post-grad, my master's, just after my engineering, after my computer engineering. The year was early 2000s. 2002 2003 की बात है. Microsoft आया था, हमारे बैच के टॉपर को हायर किया था 8,000 रुपए. जनरल इलेक्ट्रिक जी आया, हमारे यूनिवर्सिटी टॉपर को हायर किया तो उसको 5,500 रुपए. सो ऐसी सैलरी थी, है ना. तो फिर देन आई डिसाइडेड बॉस 5,000 रुपए के लिए काम करना है तो फिर क्या ही काम करना टाइप. सो सम ऑफ माय सीनियर्स हैड गॉन टू द यूएस and their salary at that point of time used to be $60,000 or $70,000 on an average per year. So there was a huge difference between the risk and the reward. Risk, yes, 2 years and maybe no job after the end of 2 years. But the reward would be, here you're getting freaking $5,000 rupees a month, and there you're getting more than $5,000-6,000 a month, and the dollar arbitrage was around 40 rupees to a 40 rupee to a dollar. So 40 times का difference था बस. So risk reward strategy में बहुत बड़ा change था, मतलब बहुत बड़ा difference था just because of one master's degree. You understand what I'm trying to say? And my master's degree was free. I got actually a lot of scholarship money and internship and everything. But the time was different. Early 2000, I decided to do my master's directly from my college, and I from my bachelor without any experience. I had an option of working. Maybe 4-5,000 रुपए मिलते तो फिर I thought I would not. So that's the reason why I went to the US, right? And I did my master's. I was lucky, the times were different. I got scholarship also. I got internship also. By the end of my master's degree, I had $30,000 saved. जिसको उड़ा दिया तो सभी saved नहीं, सब उड़ा दिए. But the times were different. In today's time in India, if you have done a bachelor's program, decent bachelor's, you have a data science kind of a vocational skill as well to showcase, then there are a lot of opportunities that one can get, right? When I went to the master's program in the US, except for some of the Indians, the Americans or the other nation folks, everybody had massive experiences to share in the class. And their learning used to be very, very different. Our learning used to be very theoretical. Their learning used to be extremely different. And in the full-time placements as well, their salaries, so suppose, my salary was around 75,000 to come out of the college. Their salaries used to be $85,000, $90,000 on an average. So the salaries used to be different as well. So if somebody asks me in today's time, and if you're in India, you have some, digital tech, data science kind of a skill and a bachelor's program, I strongly advise people to work, because there are good opportunities and the salaries are much better. मतलब ऐसा तो नहीं है कि मतलब 5,000 रुपए आपको लग रहा होगा कि अच्छा 2,000 का है, तो उस टाइम रेंटल भी, हमारे यहाँ रेंटल भी was around, I think my flat rental was around at that point of time, I mean, when I was sharing my flat with one of my other roommates, I think it was, if I remember, 15,000 rupees था उस टाइम, कुछ ऐसा ही 7-8 रुपए तो उस टाइम भी. So it was not extremely cheap. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? But the salaries were extremely bad. But now the salaries have improved significantly, so you can still survive even if you work for a couple of years. And the amount of experience that you'll get here will be global experiences also. And then if you did a master's program, it'll have a lot of value addition to it. I don't believe in doing a master's to get married. There are a lot of people in India, they do masters कि भैया ज़्यादा जल्दी से शादी होगी. So I don't believe in that philosophy. I would rather say get a bachelor's, work for a couple of years, then do a master's. 4 years experience in sales. See, pharmaceutical background has a unique advantage. Pharmaceutical comes under the healthcare analytics. Now, in healthcare analytics is a big area which hires analytics folks. The advantage of pharmaceutical or a medical science background in healthcare is that healthcare analytics guys only hire people who have had a pharma kind of a background or a medical kind of a background. So if you can marry your domain experience of pharma with the data vocational skills, then it could be a good story to sell. Chiranjeev. What is the difference between a business analyst and a data analyst? Really, I mean, these are all designations. Some companies call the data analyst as business analyst. Some people call business analyst a data analyst. I've seen the data scientists are also called as business analysts and vice versa. Business analyst, if I have to describe it, because the data analysts also have to also understand the business pretty well. Without understanding the businesses or the nature of the business, you can't really create reports and understand what is going on in that business data. So, I mean, the only difference I can make is that a business analyst maybe has a little more understanding of the business. But I would rather not make any difference between the two. Business analyst and the data analyst are very similar profiles. Possimi's question is, can a non-engineering background jump directly into data engineering? I've seen it happening. I've seen it happening in the sense I've had a MSc in economics students. As part of the diploma in data science that he was doing, he had it big data as a paper. I mean, as a course, as part of our program only. Now, believe me, he got so interested into that big data part, that Hadoop and SDFS and Hive part, and he said that, sir, mujhe to yahi karna. I really like it. So it's about passion. If you build up passion into something, nobody can stop it. I mean, these are not rocket science, which are very difficult to understand. As a data engineer, most of the time now there are tools available. You're just kind of assembling the tool. One tool you're connecting to the other tool, you're connecting to the third tool, you're connecting to the fourth tool. You're making the entire assembly line so that the data travels from the source to the reporting tool smoothly. I mean, it's not rocket science. Believe me, it's not rocket science. So, Possimi, to answer your question, no. To become a data engineer, you don't have to be a data analyst or a data scientist. It's not necessary. I mean, of course, if you have had any experience of working with data, you'll be able to appreciate much better as to what data engineers do. But it's not a mandatory thing at all. Not at all. I have a question to start. Savadnanath has asked, data science career, which field is better, IT, company, or banks? यार सारे IT कंपनी तो बैंक के लिए काम करते हैं. What I mean to say is that TCS, Accenture, Wipro, Cognizant, these are all typical Indian pure play IT companies. They all have their biggest set of clients from banking industry. You understand what I'm trying to say? Most of the business that these IT companies get are from banking and financial services industry clients. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, how to answer this question? कि बैंक में काम करें कि डेटा की IT company में काम करें. The only difference that I can say is that, for example, HSBC is also one of our clients and Accenture is also our client. Accenture is an IT company, HSBC is a pure play banking firm. Both of them hire in the data science field as well. And like that, Subhajit, this guy, you know, he's worked with Accenture, pure play IT, and then he worked with Wells Fargo also. Wells Fargo is like HSBC, you know, a very large banker of the world. Now, when you work directly with the bank, then the life is little better. Life, not the quality of work, I would say. Life is better. You'll have more defined hours. But if you work with a pure play IT company, you're client dependent. So if the client says रात को 12 बजे काम करो तो 12 बजे भी काम करो. So थोड़ा सा difference उसमें आ जाता है. Not so much in the salary, not so much in the quality of work, but very much in the culture, very much in the work hours. In which kind of fields SQL is needed the most? Priyanjali, SQL is one such skill which is required by a data analyst, a data visualizer, data scientist, a data engineer. Without SQL, you cannot work in any one of these domains. Unfortunately. Right? So SQL is that common thread, common skill, one of the common skills which is required by everybody across industries. Because SQL is the language which data repositories or the databases speak. That means wherever the data is residing, if you want to extract the data out from that repository, we'll have a quick discussion on that also. Then you need SQL. Just like if I am able to communicate and share my thought process with you because I'm speaking the same common language that you understand. If I was not speaking the same common language, you would not have understood each other. So SQL is that common language which binds a human being with the data repository where the data is residing. Through SQL, you can easily and quickly pull the data out, whatever data you need from the repositories. So I mean, that's what we will do in this course anyways. What is the demand for SQL, R, with student consumer goods? Shranga, say for example, ITC is one of our biggest clients. Tesco is one of our other biggest clients. Both we are official learning partner as well as they have recruited a lot of people as well from us. Coca-Cola is one of our clients, CPG. So, I mean, these are the typical clients. And we have had a food startup. They have a chain of cloud kitchens across the country. I forgot the name, Matrix, something, I forgot the name. But they're funded startup. So, I mean, yeah, but you know, I mean, food and beverage is a very fragmented industry. You do not have a lot of large players. Food and beverage, I would say, F&B. I mean, but you know, I'll take my words back. Abby, you know, Abby in there, you know, वो जो दारू बनाता है क्या कहता है? Abby in there, क्या बोलता है? हाँ, Abby in there, दारू बनाता है ना? I'm market researcher, so I lead the execution part of it. So Abby in Wave also has a lot of people in the data science world. And Nielsen kind of companies or Kantar kind of companies hire a lot of people for food and beverage industry because they do a lot of market intelligence and data research work for these clients. So those are the, yes, AB and Wave. Yeah. 2013, okay, 7 years accounting, data analysis. I mean, it's good that you have identified a problem area, Renu. I mean, if there is a problem area in today's time, you know, everything is available. We are offering you a class on data science. There are a lot of good people who are offering you class on spoken English. Sachin Tendulkar को English नहीं आती थी, उसने सीख लिया था 2 महीने के अंदर. How much time does it take? We train people in corporate world. We also used to train, not anymore. French and Dutch, एक महीना में सिखा देते हैं corporate में. If you know the problem statement, you can easily take care of it. But if you keep cribbing about it, if there is a problem, it's a very easy solution. The problem statement is that how do I learn X? There are a lot of solutions. ऐसा तो नहीं rocket science पढ़ना है आपको. ये तो बहुत ही simple सा चीज है. You put in your effort, within a month's time, you will see a huge transition. और कौन सा हम अंग्रेज के लिए काम करते हैं? ऐसे भी नहीं that we have to have Shakespeare's Mr. Tharoor's level of impeccable language oration, right? I mean, you don't have to be. You just have to do a काम चलाओ. Corporate English is very straightforward. Puta straightforward. I get one. But I strongly suggest, guys, unfortunately, I have observed this a lot of times, again, more often than not. Like Subhajit, if you'll hear his story, he's a great orator. And probably that is also one of the main reasons that he was able to convert such high-stake, high-profile interviews, even though with so many things in his profile. He, great communicator. That girl that I was showing you, even that girl is a great communicator. So there are people who may lack in the technical skills and the profile, but they compensate that with because of their oration, their oral ability. And believe me, it's not difficult. You understand? I mean, it's really not extremely difficult. I went to an army school in a very small town. So वहाँ पे कोई हमारे टीचर आधे हिंदी में पढ़ाते थे. But I mean, I have worked with some of the finest companies in the US, given presentation to CXOs of truly global Fortune 10 companies, and they were able to communicate with me. So I'm right in front of you. So I mean, what I'm trying to say is that English or a language skill for a multilingual society like Indians. I mean, we live in a multilingual society. Everybody speaks at least 3 languages. कोई मेरे को US में बोलता था, अरे प्रतीक, you speak 2-3 languages. मैं बोला आओ इंडिया, कई लोग मिलेंगे 6 language बात करते. We are a multilingual society, right? I mean, it's very easy for us to know Bengali person, a Gujarati person, a Punjabi person. कहाँ अमेरिका में सब अंग्रेजी बोलते हैं. ज़्यादा एक न्यूयॉर्क का एक्सेंट होगा, एक टेक्सास का एक्सेंट होगा, एक कैलिफोर्निया का एक्सेंट ही होता है. बस बोलते तो अंग्रेजी है. So if I mean, for us to learn a language is not a big deal at all, frankly. And English, so it's a very easy thing for any Indian to learn. But believe me, if you are a good orator, if you have a command over your language, in this industry, unfortunately, there is favorism. And I've seen it happening multiple times. कई लोग मैंने देखा रे यार इसका हायरिंग नहीं हुआ, इसका टेक्निकल आदमी है, बट इस बंदे का बेवकूफ कौन है, क्योंकि बंदा बोलता बड़ा अच्छा है. You understand what I'm trying to say? So yeah, ability to speak and communicate with clarity has a great advantage. How's the job market in Calcutta? Ask the politician. Freaking sale. What I'm trying to say is that 4% market share. Calcutta has 4% market share of the entire data science industry in India. Bangalore has 33% market share. 1/3 of all jobs are from Bangalore alone. Delhi NCR has around 25% of the market share. Pune, Bombay area has another 30%. Hyderabad has around 12%. So if you notice, Calcutta's share is very low, unfortunately. So Calcutta, I mean, there are 2 kinds of companies you don't find in Calcutta. The startups, you don't find them. And the mid-level companies, you don't find them. All the big ones are here. All ITCs and all Tatas and all Accentures or IBMs or Capgemini's or Cognizants or Wipros, HCLs. These are all here. But not the mid-size and the startups who hire in significant quantity. In Bangalore, if you throw a stone 100-meter in any direction, you'll land into a data science startup. Would at least have 10 people. You understand what I'm trying to say? In Calcutta, if you throw a drone, you'll not find 10 companies working in the data science startup world. So that is the main difference in Calcutta. So that's the main point, Debutosh. But HSBC is here, Deloitte is here, EY is here, Accenture is here. There are a lot of people who get hired in these companies. ITC's headquarters is here. Tata Steel's one of the biggest office centers is here. What is the job market abroad? I mean, there are a lot of people from Ivy student community who are working in Canada, US, UK, Germany, Ireland, Australia. There are a lot of them. Middle East, a lot of them. Africa also, there are a lot of people who are working. There are a lot of people who are working. So, I mean, you see, in India, the competition is, of course, higher. In Canada, in New Zealand, I mean, how many technical people will find? So, I mean, there are opportunities for technical folks, absolutely. But of course, you know, I'm not an expert. If anybody, or if any of you are interested in a specific country, I can make you connect with some of our students in those countries, especially the US, Canada, the UK, Australia, Africa, Middle East. This is where we have more number of people than other countries. Which kind of a company is better to work with, in a startup or an established firm? I mean, really depends upon your risk profile. See, I recommend people that when you are early in your career, when you do not have dependents, you have a larger risk-taking ability. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Generally speaking, not a generic statement to make, but generally speaking, when you are young, you can take more risk. When you have more dependents, married, dependents, and all, the ability to take risk reduces. That is how the world works. So that's one fact. The second fact is startups normally give you more opportunity to work. However, the second fact about startups is that they are very unorganized, and plus there is no boundary of work. You may be hired as a data person. So maybe you're doing data engineering work, data science work, data analyst work, anything with data entry work also you're doing. आप नहीं बोल सकते क्या सर मुझसे डेटा एंट्री क्यों करा रहे हैं, ये तो डेटा इंजीनियरिंग का टास्क है, ये मैं कैसे करूंगा? वो फाउंडर बोलेगा मुझे क्या मालूम है, मुझे तो डेटा का डी नहीं मालूम, तू ये डेटा है, तेरे को तो मैं 10 लाख रुपए दे रहा हूँ, तेरे को ही करना है. You have to do it, there is nobody else. So you have to do it. So that way you also learn more. Yeah. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? But of course, you know, then you have to forget about your life. I mean, I am a risk taker. I like to experiment, and hence I have taken different kinds of risk. You know, I was in a very cushiony job in the US, then I took a sabbatical and I came to India. Job of chodo. But the way I thought about it is that since I had already worked for a few years, I had a US degree. My marks was all right. I mean, everything was good. I worked with a good set of companies also in the US. Uske baad I took a sabbatical, came to India to start a startup. Because I thought, kuch nahi hoga to वापस चले जाए. Safety net hai. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So there was a big safety net. उससे तो नीचे नहीं गिर सकते. So the way I look at it is that when I'm taking any such decision, so I look at the risk है, but उसका reward क्या हो सकता है? Suppose when I went to the US, I told you 5,000 versus $5,000, 5,000 rupees versus $5,000, 40 times the difference है. थोड़ा सा risk लेके 40 times the difference. So there is a potential of high reward, very high reward. थोड़ा सा risk but high reward. So here, if somebody is very young, थोड़ा सा risk है, अगर 6 महीना कोई startup में काम के fail करेंगे, उतना ही तो होगा ना, fail करेंगे. जो आप सीखोगे तो nobody can take it away from you. Maybe 1 month का salary भी नहीं दिया, 2 month का salary भी नहीं दिया, और उतना ही तो effort होगा, फिर से job ढूंढनी पड़ेगी. Maybe 1 महीना और लगे, 2-3 महीना का बीच में gap आए. but that is the only effort. But अगर वो startup चल गया तो maybe you get employee stock options, फिर जिंदगी भर काम करने की जरूरत. So I look at this also. I mean, I've invested into some of the startups where some of the folks early, मतलब ऑफिस का जो पियन था उसको 0.1% ESOP मिला तो उसको 1 करोड़ रुपए मिला. मतलब I've seen it happening in 4 of different startups. ऑफिस का जो पियन था या पहला जो इंटर्न हायर किया था उसको कुछ ESOP था, and that is because of that ESOP the company's valuation increased to 500 crore. वो बंदे को भी मिल गया 50 लाख. अब वो बंदा 24 साल का है, 25 साल का है, उसको भी मिल गया. A lot of people have burned their hands also, but I'm just saying some people who took the risk. So answer depends upon you and your risk taking ability and your general aptitude. If you ask me, I would say yes, go and work with the startup. They will make you learn quite a few things. And now in India, you know, nobody looks down upon you कि तुम business से आ रहे. जब हम आए थे तो लोग बोलते थे क्या करेगा, business करेगा, बेवकूफ आदमी. So now the things have changed, you know. I mean, nobody looks down upon you if you fail in your business. वो बोलते स्टार्टअप का फाउंडर था, स्टार्टअप फेल कर गया, नौ फेल करते कोई बात नहीं. They are more than happy to hire a startup founder who has failed in his business. They are glorious people. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? I don't know if you watched that Shark Tank episode where the guy was crying. कोई शू का मैन्युफैक्चरर था and he was crying and he became a sensation the next day in India. Failed.
Featherhead.
Yeah. And failed startup owner, but became a sensation. You know? People were making offers left, right, and center to that guy. So why not? I mean, it's a different kind of India. I mean, you take risk, you will be rewarded. कुछ है मेरे भाई, मैं बताया ना, मेरे भाई लोग हैं जो कि रिस्क लेता रहता है, हर 6 महीने में बोर होता है, नया चीज करता है, तो इसके लिए like because they're very confident. All my younger brothers who are 8-10 years younger to me, their thought process is extremely different. You know, I mean, they have had a good education background, and for them, they know that they will have a job. So they chill. Okay, I mean, they have a word called as chill. Sir, Pratik, bhaiya abhi I've taken a break from my career because I'm chilling. तो क्या गए, साउथ अमेरिका गए 6 महीना चिल करके आएंगे. मैं बोला जॉब तो क्या होगा, जॉब कहाँ जाएगी, वापस आ जाएगी. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? That is the confidence that the new India has, right? So because you know, I mean, that's how the job. I mean, if you have a safety net of education background or of some degree or of some such little bit of experience, you know, I mean, you know that there'll be jobs. So product-based company, if a product-based company hires you, Rohit, nothing like it, it'll be a great experience. Salary package. Of course, you know, Rima's point is that salary package offered in Calcutta is low as compared to. You get Rasgulla also in Calcutta only, right? And Gud ka mithai only in Calcutta at less than 20 rupees a piece. You go and buy the same mithai in Bombay airport, you'll be paying 150 rupees a piece. Or in Gurgaon, at least 80 rupees a piece. How can you compare Calcutta's salary with any other city's salary? Calcutta is super cheap. I don't know if you guys realize this or not. It's extremely cheap as compared to other cities, other major metros. It is extremely cheap, boss. It is cheaper than Pune. It's cheaper. I get point. So how can you ask? Calcutta is cheap, and hence the salaries are also cheaper. Recruiter will say, "तुम तो घर में रहोगे, बाड़ी में रहोगे. You will stay at your body and your Baba's body. So why do you need more money?" Simple. बॉम्बे में कोई बोल सकता है क्या बाबा's body? बाबा के पास बाड़ी भी नहीं होगा, बाबा का खानदान, क्योंकि बॉम्बे the real estate is so expensive. You get in 40,000, you get like 400 square feet का place नहीं मिलता. Calcutta, you will get at 4,000, 5,000, 8,000 rupees a good PG with khana wana, everything. There is a huge difference in the cost of living. See guys, remember one thing. My grandfather used to say, "Jitna bada city, utna bada paisa." Do you understand what I'm saying? So that is the reason why I chose New York, or sorry, I chose Chicago as my first job location when I was given an offer. I had a list of options to select, so I chose Chicago. Second option was New York. देखा जाएगा, देखेंगे क्या करना है. Salary was, I would have gotten more. I mean, I would have probably saved more if I had chosen Houston, which is a Texan city, much cheaper than New York and Chicago. But I chose Chicago because I went like, जाएंगे Chicago, देखेंगे क्या होता है. बड़ा city. Do you understand what I'm saying? Once you've worked in a big city like Chicago, New York, or Delhi, or Bombay, and all, then all of the cities in the world are always going to be cheaper. So if you have made money there, then you can make anywhere money. Do you understand what I'm saying? So that's the philosophy that I would recommend. Why stick to one country? Be mobile. I mean, unless you have some specific need. See, 28, Prajna, again, as I said, and I think, Prajna, you were a student in my other module. I mean, I think you were a good student. So why 28? MBA kiya, what is the problem? Don't worry. See, I also recommend one more. I also have a philosophy, and again, based on all the experiences that I've had by students. A student, a learner who has remained very focused on learning and presenting that learning through projects and cases, right? In a smart fashion, like the kind of resumes that I showed you, like the kind of LinkedIn profile that I showed you. If you are smart and if you're sincere towards learning, please believe me, you will get good number of interview calls. Good number of interviews. I'll show you one student, okay? Extremely sincere. His name is Gagandeep. I think it's just about finishing the program or just finished the program or something like that. This guy. Now, Udinmina, he has decided that he want to become a data visualization expert. Okay, and he's getting at least 2 or 3 jobs every day. और वो जॉब कैसे बोलता है कि सर ये ना मजा नहीं है, या कोई और स्टूडेंट को दे दो. हमें फोन करके बोलता है सर ये जॉब आया है, ये किसी और को दे दो आईवी में, ये मुझे करने का मन नहीं है. परसों ही फोन आया. मैं बोला यार ब्रदर क्या चल रहा है? बोला सर एक्चुअली क्या है ना, बहुत जॉब्स आ रहे हैं अभी. तो मैंने बोला लोग ले ऑफ कर रहे थे कोई इतना जॉब. तो ये बंदा क्या करता है ना, एवरी डे, ये मतलब he has become so passionate about this industry that every day he's just talking about data. या तो किसी के पीछे लगा हुआ है, या अपना पोस्ट कर रहा है, या अपना कोई केस स्टडी का पोस्ट कर रहा है, या कुछ सर्टिफिकेट दिखा रहा है. मतलब इट्स ओनली अबाउट डेटा. Everything is only about data. Okay, so पूरा कम्युनिटी में एकदम खाली डेटा में रहता है चारों तरफ से. एवरी डे दिन के कुछ ऐसा कम से कम 1 or 2 post he makes only on data, projects, cases. So naturally he is getting opportunities. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So the idea is that people who are deeply passionate, become passionate about something like this, whichever this career, this particular career, you will get an opportunity. But you have to be very passionate about learning. There's no shortcut. All these guys, They take effort. They do data entering from graphic design. Prarthana. Okay. I mean, Prarthana, if you're part of this program, I would say that focus as part of the program also, we also do internship for every module. And we give additional certificate for it. You have to work on extra projects. So now that if you're part of this program, there's enough and more projects and cases in this program. So at least for the next 6-7 months, don't worry too much about it. Will I get raised there itself? Ujaswani is asking me a question internal to HCL. Ujaswani, I don't know. I mean, how do I know? I don't even know your current salary. I don't know what kind of profile you are in. She's an analyst working at HCL. What is HCL? I mean, what kind of experience you've had? What kind of projects you're working on? Raise within a company really depends upon how well people know you, what kind of value addition that you have done to the company, and how well can you communicate those value addition to your decision makers. If the three things are good, then any company will give the raise. Seema's question is, she's working in TCS in insurance. Well, I have trained, believe me, if you're doing my class the way I tell you to do my class, I can train a stone. But the stone should come to the class and do what I'm telling that stone to do. Okay. I can train anybody. I know I can train SQL to anybody. Okay. But you got to do what I tell you to do. If you don't do it, then you will not, then I can't guarantee. But if you take all my classes live, if you do what I tell you to do, then 100%, मैं नहीं छोड़ूंगा. भले आप मुझे छोड़ दे, मैं नहीं छोड़ूंगा. I will make sure that you will learn. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? You can.
Yeah.
Soma, you had a question? The point is, I don't get irritated at my students. You can ask me the same question 10 times. Okay, and I will answer. But you got to do what I tell you to do. You got to do the projects, the assignments, the cases that I make you do in the stipulated time that I tell you to do. See, just to give you an understanding of why I'm saying what I'm saying. It's not an easy thing that we do, right? I'll show you one of the other batches that we finished. So you'll understand the kind of work that we do in every module. So there are research projects that I will make you work upon. There are assessments that you will have. There are industry case studies that you will do. And not just one or two of them. 7, 8, 9 industry cases that you will end up doing.
These are the cases you post on LinkedIn.
You can post any of these cases on your LinkedIn. You can post any of these research projects on your LinkedIn as well. But remember, anything that you post, you are liable to be asked. You got to be very confident about these as well. ऐसा नहीं कि resume में डाल दिया देख लेंगे पूछेगा पूछेगा ही पूछेगा. And then you can't say, sir, वो तो मैं भूल गया. You understand what I'm trying to say? That's. Is Gagandeep from what background? I don't know. I mean, I have to check. We'll give you class recording for revision also. And there are a lot of assignments. A lot of them. Assignments are topic specific. Case studies are big things. Projects are even bigger things. Okay. So a lot of things will happen. Okay. A lot of content is there to learn. In a very structured fashion, I'm going to train you. Okay. Believe me, if you've actually done all these, it is impossible that you would not have learned. या तो क्लास छोड़ दोगे पहले 2-3 क्लास के अंदर, या और अगर आप पूरा करते हो तो believe me, you will learn. There is, I am not a rocket scientist. You know, I mean, I teach easy things. So I will teach you, and I will make sure that you learn, irrespective of your background. As long as you know English. English नहीं आता तो मैं हिंदी में बोल पाऊंगा थोड़ा, and Bengali समझ में आती है, गुजराती समझ में आती है, मराठी समझ में आती है. Can't speak, but as long as you understand the language I'm speaking, you will learn. Srimoy's question is, what are the good startups companies to work? I mean, again, startups are so wide in variety. Some are very established startups. Some are not so established startups. So it really varies. Priya's question is, I have zero knowledge in SQL. It's good that you have no knowledge in SQL. If you have little knowledge in SQL, that would have been more dangerous. If you have no knowledge in SQL, no problem. You'll believe me. You'll believe in whatever I'll tell you. So which is fine. How many of SQL classes? I will have approximately 24 to 28 hours of classes. And every class generally is 2 hours, generally speaking. Depends upon my mood, depends upon your mood. But the scheduled time is 2 hours. If I have to take a little more, a little less, I'll let you know. Okay. But we'll do it in a way that the topics are done in very structured fashion. Each concept, I will tell you what it is first, then I'm going to show you how it is done. Then I'm going to ask you to do it in front of me. And then I'm going to give you some home assignments. And then once you're ready, then I'll start giving you cases. Then we'll have doubt clearing on cases and assignments as well. So it's done in a very structured fashion. Will advanced SQL be covered? Well, I mean, I'll tell you what I will cover. I had SQL in my engineering days for 3 semesters. And I'm training you on less than 30 hours. That means, of course, there are things that I've left out. But I've left out those things which I know in the industry, especially to begin with, you don't really probably need it. But it's like a vast ocean. There is no end to the learning. But you will see that I do cover a lot of things, whether it is advanced or not. If you ask me, because I do a lot of corporate workshops as well. So, we'll talk about normalization, and we'll talk about how SQL works on cloud as well. What is the difference between database and data warehouse and data lakes? This we have spoken about today. What is SQL? How is it different from Excel and Power BI and Tableau, etc. Then we'll talk about database design principles, normalization, as properties, and all. How to run SQL queries on cloud platform. Then something called as CRUD operations is like the basics of SQL. We'll talk about that. Then we will understand how to import the data from different sources, how to import the data using command line interface, the black screen. Some people, it could be a scary thing, but like a black screen kind of a client also, which is completely looks like a hacker work, but we will do that also. Then we'll start analyzing the data using SQL. It's a large chunk. Numerical operators, logical operators, functions, set manipulation, joins, advanced pattern matching, union all, various different kind of joins, what are the advantages, disadvantages of them. We will also keep talking about optimization principles, SQL optimization principles in between, how to make your query run faster and so forth. Then how do we summarize the data, group by, having, roll up, order by, case when, if statement, common table expression. So, if you were to ask me, I would say that the advanced topic starts from here. Even regular expression could be considered as an advanced concept. Common table expression, views, user-defined variables, parameters, basically window functions, and all different kinds of window functions that are available in SQL, not just few, but all. Text functions, text manipulation, exist, not exist, correlated support. This is a pretty advanced concept. And then, of course, how do we create functions and store procedures using SQL? So these are some of the things that we will talk about. As I said, we will work on at least 7 different industry case studies and 3 to 4 different research projects. Research projects are things which I don't give to you. You do it yourself. All the cases and all, I'll give you the case, problem statement. We'll have a doubt clearing session on case and all of that. But research projects are things that you do yourself. Our students have worked on projects from Uber, from Ola, from Oyo, from various different kind of things, Taj Hotel, so various good things that they have done. Possibly's question is that, can I land a job just after doing SQL and Excel? Possibly yes, and I would say possibly no as well. And I would rather say that, why do you want to restrict yourself? As a data analyst, at least 2-3 things you must exhibit. How to work with large amount of data, where SQL will come into the picture. How do you visualize the data, where Excel and one of the visualization tool like Power BI and Tableau will come into the picture. And how to do basic statistical analysis on the data. And that's where statistical modeling and maybe a little bit of Python will come in the picture. If you don't know at least this much, then those three profiles that I'm talking about, the first level of profile, which is data analyst profile, there you do not fully fit. Yes, you can fit, but not fully fit. I get a point. One of the scripting languages is required. I mean, coding language generally required. Python. Not that you can't live without it. But क्या होता है ना, जब भी आप खरीदने जाते हो गाड़ी, अब आप हिमाचल में हो, you don't really require AC 99% of the time. But for that 1% of time बोलते हैं अच्छा AC अगर है किसी कार में 5,000 रुपए का डिफरेंस है या 10,000 रुपए का डिफरेंस है, बोलते चलो वही ले लेते हैं, क्या मालूम, maybe I will go to Kanyakumari from Himachal. You understand what it is? So when a recruiter is hiring, they also go with the same thought process. इस बंदे को पावर भी आता है, SQL आता है, एक्सेल आता है, स्टैटिस्टिकल मॉडलिंग कुछ भी नहीं आती, पाइथन भी नहीं आता. एक और बंदा है 10,000 रुपए महंगा है, 20,000 रुपए महंगा है, बट उसको ये थोड़ा सा आता है एक्स्ट्रा, तो चलो उसको लेते हैं, क्या मालूम, मे बी द जॉब प्रोफाइल डजंट रिक्वायर इट इमीडिएटली, बट मे बी इन द फ्यूचर, बिकॉज दे आर वेरी इंटरकनेक्टेड. It's the same thing. You know, that's a philosophy. I get a point. 3D based question is there any application to be installed on your laptop? Yes, there is an application. Don't worry about it. I will give it to you not today, in the next class. Today was just chit chat. Can we become a data scientist without knowing any cloud platform? Difficult. But cloud platform is very easy to learn. We will see in the first class. In the next class, we will use Google Cloud Platform and we will use Google BigQuery. It's not, cloud platform is designed to be easy, inherently. Very easy. Is it difficult to use cloud? I mean, Google Drive or Google Photos? Is it difficult? Probably easier.
Cloud platform means AWS and Microsoft Azure, such that?
Yeah, AWS, Microsoft Azure, and Google Cloud Platform.
So
but is that not easy? They're not difficult at all.
So AWS, Microsoft Azure needs to be from being a non-technical background. Do we need to learn coding for that?
Google Drive use करने के लिए do you need any technical background? I'm telling you, don't worry. These are all inherently designed to be easy. Very easy. They're easier to use than driving a car.
Sir, AWS में coding की जरूरत नहीं है.
इसमें AWS में क्या coding? Why coding? See, AWS is like or any cloud platform is like a large machine. It has several applications in it. Now, if you're doing Python coding on AWS, then you require coding. If you're doing SQL coding, then you require coding. But if you're not doing SQL coding, why coding is required? Yeah, 3D based question is a valid question. Power BI or Tableau, which one should I go? I mean, very difficult to answer. Clear-cut winner nahi. There is no clear-cut winner. If you look at our client base, it's equally divided. Some people use Tableau, some people use Power BI. And both set of people are very big people. For example, ITC uses Tableau, Power BI. Tesco uses Tableau. Honeywell uses Tableau. But Coke uses Power BI. So, I mean, they're big companies. They have their own preferences. The idea is that if you know one, it's not so difficult to learn the other. But if you are okay, why not learn both? Opens more opportunities. Believe me, if you have learned one, then learning the other one will be very easy. High RAM, 2 GB RAM is going to be little, I mean, not that things will not work, just that things will be slow, like a tortoise speed, 2 GB RAM. Yeah, I mean, possibly there are a lot of folks who end up getting jobs in between as well. Yeah, I mean, depending upon what course package you have taken, Ritik, you would have visualization tool. Normally, visualization tool is there in any of the course certification packages that we have. One of the visualization tool at least. Renu, I know you have zero knowledge. You have mentioned that zero knowledge in SQL. People do this course because they have zero knowledge in a lot of things. If you had little knowledge of a lot of things, then you would not be doing this course. So don't worry about it. SQL developer is a very different kind of a profile. SQL developer is a person who would ensure that SQL databases, I mean, they are also writing automated queries. They are automating the queries as well. They are highly specialized in performance optimization, performance tuning. They are also writing applications on top of SQL. So it becomes a very different kind of, and as an analyst, you use SQL to get the data and to create reports. That's about it. You're not really concerned about how I can integrate my database to another software or how I can do a lot of advanced optimization kind of stuff. You just report banana apne ko, because if I have made the report, then I can answer business questions. So it's a very different kind of a role profile. All right, guys, 250. What I want you guys to do today is if you do not have a LinkedIn profile, go ahead and create one LinkedIn profile. Send me a request. Okay. I gave you one Subhajit Sen Gupta's video. Do watch it. I gave you one video on LinkedIn profile making as well. Do watch it if you're not done so. Be prepared. Okay. In this week, in this coming week, whatever you want to learn about 2-3 topics, just Google. Okay. Just Google about what is a database, what is a data warehouse, and data warehouse, and what is data lake. Just read up on these 3 things from Google. Just Google karo, kuch bhi samjha, nahi samjha, to bhi chalega. What is a database? What is a data warehouse? What is a data lake? Because next day when we will meet, which is on Saturday, next Saturday, same time, 1 to 3, then we will start our discussion with this. What is a database? What is a data warehouse? What is a data lake? And how are they different and how are they interrelated? Got it? And then we will see the role of SQL in this world. We will also understand how these 3 things fit into the world of data. All right, that's how we will start. No other assignment I'm giving you guys. See you guys tomorrow. See you guys in the next class, which will be next Saturday. Have a good one. Take care, everybody. Thank you for all the good questions that you asked. Bye bye.
Thank you, sir.
Good day.
Have a good day. Bye.